VoigtFarmOutfitters.com for all the details and to reserve your spot.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 11th annual Street Festival. The party starts on Saturday, March 15th, with tons of giveaways, a kilt contest, great Irish food, and green beer, and continues on Monday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 11 a.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Monday, and the street party starts at 2 p.m. both days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's 8th and P in the Haymarket.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Allo Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer.
Blitz is on. Taylor picks it up. Fires. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Canadian Football League Grey Cup champion.
Taylor again, wide open.
And first-team All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
5 for Steve Taylor. That is a new Nebraska record.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, former All-American quarterback Steve Taylor.
Bringing him. Bring him in. Steve Taylor Saturday.
I don't know. Do you like that? You like that little intro?
I like that, bro. That is fire. Come on. That is tailor-made.
I love it.
That is tailor-made. Yeah. We're going to take you through the next hour, DP, Steve Taylor. The Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. You want to be a part of what we're doing, text us, hit us up. If you got questions, comments, or otherwise, do so. You can follow live on all the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. And if you have not downloaded the Ticket app, do so. It's a big week coming up the next couple of weeks. Going to football, basketball state championships. We have the girls this week, which will run most of the content this week. from Wednesday forward is girls state basketball. Nick Sanders on the call. You'll have various ticket talent down there with them. And then boys basketball next week as well. So lots going on. And
man, you're going to be busy.
It is a big stretch. I'm going to head to Indy for the girls Big Ten tournament.
That's right.
Right. So I'm going to go Thursday morning, depending on how the Huskers girls do tomorrow against Northwestern. As long as they get a win and don't play themselves into that early Wednesday game, then I'll go Thursday. And then ideally, they don't play at 12 noon. so I can fly there that morning.
I've seen a few games. How are the Huskers? How deep can they go in the conference, you think?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So they're beat up.
Yes. They've been beat up from day one.
Right. Like you lose a key player, and then you lose another starter, and then your freshman of the year candidate gets an injury and has to carry that. But they're fighters.
Yes.
We used it. It's a word that you overuse sometimes, gritty.
Well, that's like their head coach.
Right. Like
she's gritty.
It's gritty, right? Yeah. Like you were around for young Amy, right? So you know that as a player, she played it, she worked a certain style. Yeah. I try to tell people, pay attention to who the coaches were as players, because that's going to be the culture of the team.
Reflection on their team.
Right. That's going to be the culture of the team. And so you say that. So Steve, they've got some people, and they had some tough losses, but they had some wins. To go to College Park and beat a Brenda Freese Maryland team is okay. You got something. There's something. I don't think they were happy with their performance on senior night. So them against Northwestern is a big deal. Sets the table for them. 20-win season is in play if you get an early round win in the tournament. You also, in the tournament, in the Big Ten this year, with the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country being in the Big Ten, right? And not the usual Big Ten stars, right? It's not last year's Caitlin Clark Iowa team. It's not this year's last year's Maryland Brenda Freese team. No, UCLA and USC are 1 and 2, and there is a gap between everybody else, including Dawn Staley, South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yes.
So, but Nebraska has the ability to cause problems when they're playing well.
You know what? You know that also sounds like our men's basketball team.
100%.
Right there, right? I mean,
100%.
You can echo exactly what you said for the men's team. So, good luck to them.
It's a big one. It's a big one at PBA.
Yeah.
Today for the men.
I got my white on. I got my text from Coach. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Oh yeah.
Got you covered. At least you get. See, he gets a text. You see the low key flex.
Well, I wasn't going in with that. I just got the text.
Coach got me. Coach got me in. I'm All-American Steve Taylor.
Stop it.
No, it's a statement. It's a statement of gold, because not all Huskers are embraced that way.
Well, yeah.
So
there are like a few perks. I don't get as many as Crouch and some other guys, but I get a few, and I'm appreciative. But it really comes from my real estate side, though, because I've worked with not only who I was on the football field, but I've also worked with a lot of the coaching staffs throughout my years here. So I've had those connections. So, and you have these bonds and these friendships, and you become. Coach's wife is awesome. We sit there, we high-fiving throughout the game. So, and you see the ups and downs and what they go through as a coach's wife and family and everything, and I can relate to them with that.
Carol Holberg's the best. She's so good. Carol Holberg, listen, like coach's wife, we're not supposed to have favorites, but no. We do. We do. How they engage and how they treat people certainly matters. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a big part of it. Yes. I'll ask you, as a former player, the bond that you created while you were here obviously gave you something that led you to stay in Lincoln, to make a life in Lincoln. What was that?
Well, several things. Like I'm a native Californian, right? I always wanted to get out of California, and I heard so much about the Midwest. And, so that had a lot to do with my scholarship when I came here to play football. The people are great. Nebraska, and people say, why do you live in Nebraska? I said, it's really the heartland. You got great schools. I love the change of the seasons. They're sports fanatics. You know, obviously football is king and whatnot. You know, it's just a good ease. And you're here. I mean, you could have gone anywhere you wanted
Yes,
to
sir.
in the country, right? And look
Right.
where you are, right?
Right.
You know, and it's just a good, wholesome place to live. You know, and if you want some more excitement, you can jump on a plane and go to New York. You can go to Kansas City and do that. I take golf trips in the winter. You know, I think my kids got a very, very good education here. I felt safe. I felt secure, probably too safe and too secure. You know, still don't lock my car doors and, you know, leave my garage open and that kind of stuff. But, you know, there's crime everywhere. But it's just a really good, solid place to live. And you just develop these friendships. And of course, my wife is from Seward, Nebraska. You know, and then my Lincoln family, my Lincoln parents. I mean, God, they could have been my biological parents, you know, and you have that bond and the years just fly by.
Through
And
all
it's
of
been
it,
good.
through all of it, like you get to watch up close with as much distance as you choose.
Yeah.
Right. What goes on. And we were talking to Ron Barron earlier, and he talked about their decision. They reached the decision point where they had to choose between Cordell Stewart and Brooke Behringer,
Yes.
and why they chose Brooke and how that played out. And you play into this so much because there's athletic intangibles.
Yes.
Athletic arrogance is what we identified it as in recruiting. To see Steve Taylor as an athlete is one thing, but if somebody didn't talk to you and find out that your sports and athletic IQ matched your talent,
Yeah.
they would have missed. They could have missed, right?
It's interesting you say that because that's one reason why I felt a little special that Nebraska was recruiting me. Like I was contacted by Oklahoma and some schools like that, but it was something about Nebraska and their philosophy and Coach Osborne that, yes, it was what you did on the field, but it was also your character was taken in consideration. So when they told me that they were only taking one quarterback in that class in 1985 and I was their first choice, I mean, I felt really good about that.
Did they mention, or were you aware who the other quarterbacks on the list
Oh
were?
yeah, for sure. Eric Mitchell from the Parade All-American, from Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Yeah.
He ended up going to Oklahoma.
Yep.
You know, he was the one that I knew for sure. Terrence Jones that went to Tulane, which were great quarterbacks. I played with Terrence up in Canada. Big kid. And he had a great career at Tulane.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I had some stiff competition, but to know that they chose me for all those reasons felt really good. And that's the difference. I never knew the story with Cordell and Brooke.
Yeah.
But when you look at Turner Gun, all the guys that Coach Osborne recruited, and that's one thing Nebraska has always done well in the past. Not only did they not recruit because of your athletic talents, but they wanted good character kids. And not that these other kids were not.
No, they
just
there's a line, right?
Yeah, there's a line. There's a line.
Again, coaches recruit from trust. Look, you can have all this talent, but can I trust this kid with my emotions, my time, my resources, and my reputation, my resume?
Yes.
Right? And it's got to be flattering. Because I asked Ron Brown, of all the positions that he's coached and recruited, which one gave him the most friction? And it was quarterback. You have to get the quarterback right. So you're
going to make me cry every time I come to the show. you bring out all these emotions in me.
No, but Steve, listen. Here's the thing: you're the only All-American quarterback I'm going to talk to this week. Right? Like you're the only world champion quarterback I'm going to talk to this week. Yeah. And so these listeners are part of when I first got here, and then I met you, and I said, "Hey man, you've got stories to tell. Yeah. You've got information to share."
And I used to listen to you on the ticket. My wife and I were rolling around in the car when you were just on the show, and was like, "Who's this dude? Where is he from?" Like, I like this guy, you know, and the knowledge and what you brought to the table. I was like, wow. So that's what really started all this because I was done with radio. I was done, right? I had moved on and did my thing, and I was doing some other things, and I did not listen to a lot of radio. Just when I every now and then. Yeah. But when you were here, we listened because of you.
Well, it's an appreciation.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
But it's and I'm flattered as well because the lineup of people, there are hundreds of former Huskers.
Oh,
right? They exist. but there's only a handful. There's two handfuls of people that I want to deal with on a regular basis. And it's people that, one, you've achieved, you've worked. Like I would always say, I need to be impressed by something about the person, right? Because if you can impress me, you should be able to impress the listener, right? That part. And if you're interesting to me, then you should be interesting to Husker fans and otherwise, because you've done a thing. They're currently in the NFL Combine. This thing is going on, right?
Yes.
And it becomes a beauty pageant of, oh, he looks the part. Oh, he has this. But I still say that the star system is flawed. I still think the NFL Combine is flawed because you still have to get to IQ, integrity, character, how you work with others who have the same amount of talent that you do, right? Yes. You've gone through the process. So I can ask you, NFL Combine for quarterback, what did they ask you, or the CFL?
Well, I wish I could answer that because I was invited to go to the Combine, and hindsight 2020, I should have gone. I mean, I should have gone just to use that as more leverage,
right?
From my standpoint. But they were my agent at the time was using the whole process as leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Steve does this, and so I negotiated the best deal because I was signed, still, and deliver. But I do wish I would have actually physically gone through that.
Did you do a? Did you do?
No. See, my situation was different. Yeah. It's more so like what you're seeing now with these quarterbacks that are highly. They're your number one, number two pick.
Right.
They don't physically go through the combine.
Right.
Right,
they're having that problem right now.
Yeah, they are, right? So they're not actually physically going through the test and all the drills and they're just there to get their swag, right? To get their gear and to post and do stuff.
Yep.
So that was really kind of my situation when I signed with the Edmonton Eskimos. They flew me up. We did all that. I didn't have to do all the combine things because they saw enough film on tape with me. They knew what they were getting.
Well, that's the point.
But yeah, I know. But still, I still kind of wish I would have actually, gone and got my swag and watched the other guys. Just kind of have the experience. But I was fortunate.
Yeah.
That I did not have to do that.
Yeah.
And still was compensated accordingly, right? And treated accordingly at the time. But
if you said to me that the combine is an opportunity for some people to get some shine that they didn't get in college, it would have been great for Brooke Behringer, right? It would have been great. For you, you had years as a starter with the same consistent level of production at a high caliber elite offensive program. So that had to mean enough.
Yes. And to be
1 weekend in a combine town.
And to be quite frank with you, not that I never would not be, I was a little concerned that I would get I would give the thought of switching positions once they physically would see me there with my speed and agility and that kind of thing, that, hey, you could really be a great, H-back receiver, slot receiver, something like that.
Oh, 100%.
And get kind of caught up in that, right? And they would kind of, because at that time it was different before Michael Vick, right? Yep. It was before Michael Vick. It was like, you could do this, you can do that. Hines Ward was one of those guys. Randall, there's so many other guys that were quarterbacks that switched positions and had great careers.
Marlon Briscoe, you can go all the way back, right?
You can go forever. And from day one, I always said I'm a quarterback. I'm a quarterback. I'm not playing any other position, although I could. And they pretty much told me, they said, Steve, if you declare yourself as an athlete, you will be drafted in the first 2 rounds. I mean, the scouts pretty much told that to me, right? Just like the Eric Crouches and whatnot. And I said, I'm not. I couldn't imagine going into the huddle and not calling the play. Someone telling me what to do.
How this is going to go.
I've never done that. And call it arrogance. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Oh.
I think I would have struggled. I think I personally would have struggled with that. Like, I often think about, maybe Tom Brady could tell me what to do. Maybe, right? I'm in the huddle. I said, maybe Tom Brady, maybe someone I would listen to.
You were the best quarterback in the country. It's not like, come on.
Like, I couldn't imagine going into a huddle and Troy Aikman telling me what to do. I mean, as weird as that may sound or arrogant or whatever, I just couldn't. And still to this day, I'm like that. Even with my business, people don't tell me what to do. I mean, your career is different, right?
It's the same thing, right? But achievement and production towards a goal, people who have those characteristics know other people like begets like.
Yes.
And I know that any conversation you and I have is going to be a quality conversation because I've been curious enough about you to be able to ask questions. And the things that either I know or want to know requires we have this conversation.
Yes.
You don't ever have to worry about what that is. As a quarterback,
you get these emotions in me so much.
Well, you delivered this. You delivered this thing, and it is elite. That's an elite era of quarterback play in college football. That's not an elite era of quarterback play at Nebraska. That's an elite era of quarterback play in the country, and the rest of the country agreed. Yes. Like that part. It's not just Nebraskans saying we had the best quarterback. No, the rest of the country said, hey, yo, Nebraska, you got one. Job well done. From the text line says, hey, Steve, big fan. What is your most memorable game at Nebraska? Obvious choices, UCLA, maybe Kansas State, maybe the snow in the Fiesta Bowl versus Florida State. What's the one that stands out in your mind?
Wow. People forget about the 1986 Florida State game. I mean, that game, and you had Deion Sanders on that team. They were ranked in the top 10. I was the first true sophomore to ever start at Nebraska, right? And it was the first night game at Nebraska. And we had played Florida State the year before, and they had beaten us. I was playing on the freshman team then. That I threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for 2, threw for 2, was National Player of the Week, and that was my first start as a true sophomore, right? And I probably would have had less than 50, actually 60 game plays on Saturdays, snaps, right? I was mopping up the last minute or two. So I only had that spring ball, and then I was about as green as you can get. Raiola had way more experience than I had his freshman year than I had going into my sophomore year. Anyway, and we won. That was a great game. And that game gets overlooked. I'm amazed. People, and the Oklahoma State game, my junior year, the UCLA game. I mean, there's the Arizona State games. There's been actually, I think about it because I see highlights just randomly. Guy sent me a text like 12 o'clock last night. He said, dude, I'm sitting here watching some game I played in 1986. And he was like, dude, you were hella fast. He said, I couldn't believe how fast we were. And when I see highlights of myself, I don't like talking about myself. People don't believe that. But I was pretty fast. I mean,
look, the Yankees at the top of your scouting report was speed.
Yes, and I was the fastest quarterback in the Nebraska history for quite some time, and still held the 10-yard record of 1.5 something for almost 30 years, right? So I was pretty fast.
Who took the record?
Oh, I can't remember. The 10-yard record, it was some guy that it wasn't Eric Crouch.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Taylor Martinez. It was someone before them that actually broke the 10-yard record.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. But those guys those are 100 meters, 200 meter type guys. Yeah, but football is played within the first 10 yards. So that's why I was always very proud of that little stat.
Look,
but anyway,
no.
So yeah, but I would say that the Florida State game is a very memorable game to me, which was my first start, along with some other ones, but that one for sure.
We'll go to break here. When we come back, I want to ask about the workout with the Eskimos.
Oh,
right. Because listen,
I didn't have one.
But the first time they see you throw a football,
it was at the East-West, and physically in person was an East-West Shrine game.
That's what we want to talk about. We'll bring that up with Steve Taylor Rep Sessions on a Saturday on The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between, we'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Now back to weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is game day in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Huskers basketball program will take on Minnesota at PBA, 1 o'clock. And then we will, of course, carry the post-game show, commentary, questions, opinions as well. So you can join us here on the ticket. In the meanwhile, Tennessee and Alabama will be on the brick and mortar, and we'll have replays for you along the way to hold you up until post-game of the Huskers. I am sitting with Steve Taylor and the All-American. We were talking about the choice to go to Edmonton. There were several things in play, right? That you had options. And let's not miss the elephant in the room is that you also had baseball opportunity as well, right? So NFL draft possibility, Major League Baseball as a possibility, and here comes the Canadian Football League and the Edmonton Eskimos. Now, if my memory serves right, that is just immediately following Warren Moon in Edmonton?
Yeah, no, it's
right?
it's like about maybe
right
5 years, possibly.
Yeah.
Because the thing people don't understand is that, which I didn't understand at the time, right? That I knew Warren Moon, but I didn't know how Warren Moon really got to the Houston Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he got there was that he was in Canada. And I had talked to Warren Moon when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Warren Moon called me because it was between University of Washington was my second choice. And he told me that, Steve, even though I was a starter, it was a constant struggle. Go back and forth of playing him. It was, the black quarterback, that whole scenario, right?
Yep.
So, I didn't have that at Nebraska. But when I talked to him, that's what he had at Washington. And Washington was a great school. And Don James was a good quality guy, very similar to Coach Osborne.
Yes.
And I liked him very, very much. And they would have been my second choice.
Yeah.
But anyway, Warren Moon had won 5 Grey Cups in Canada, right? So, and then the head coach was Hugh Campbell, who got the general manager job or head coaching job at the Houston Oilers. So that's how Warren Moon was able to go to Houston. That's how he got his opportunity. So not only did he have to win 5 Grey Cups, the head coach had to be the head coach at the Houston Oilers.
Yep.
That's how he got his shot. That's how difficult it was prior to the Michael Vick. Warren Moon, and really Warren Moon was the catalyst for teams to really start giving mobile quarterbacks, in particular African-American quarterbacks, maybe a look. And look what he had to do in the NFL in order for that to happen. That's not obviously there were black quarterbacks before him, but nothing to the stature of what Moon did. Now you look at Randall Cunningham.
That's where I was going.
He had the punt. He was a punter before he got the opportunity to be the quarterback. So that's how difficult it was at that time.
And I'll say this too, another quarterback that shared a lot of similarities, and I don't know if you've thought about it, but you and Joe Theismann carry a lot of the same mail.
Yes.
Theismann at Notre Dame got drafted by the Dolphins, decided to go to the Canadian League, and in order to come back to the NFL, he had to punt and return punts.
Yes. Yeah.
Theismann played more returning punt. I think he had a 50-yard punt return, before he became the starting quarterback. And it was mobile quarterbacks, and I never understood this because a mobile quarterback always gave additional nightmares to defensive coordinators.
Yes.
It was always, look, if I can defend 10 offensive players or 4 skill position people instead of 5 or 6 instead of 5, I had an advantage. Yes. And if the quarterback was a real threat with the football and could both run and throw, as a defensive coordinator, that's 2 hours sleep I wasn't getting the night before.
Yeah.
Like you had to know that, listen, these legs of mine, I mean, I've got the arm and I know that. They know that. But where you could kill them was moving the chains and keeping the defense on the field for an extra series.
It's actually night and day because I read a thesis about 4 or 5 months ago, the evolution of the black quarterback.
And there's a great feature online if you haven't seen it.
Yes, yeah. So a guy sent this to me and I read it, and it's amazing that you become part of history of because I was a black quarterback and the evolution. And I just read an article just the other day on Google with Dylan Raiola. And it may have been maybe Rule had said something with someone comment or just some pundit about quarterbacks now being elusive, being evasive, the dual threat. That's what people want. Where at one time they did not want that. They did not want that. So to see the evolution of just the quarterback position in itself is quite touching, and and let alone of a minority, and to see what they're doing in the National Football League.
Was the Canadian game, the space of the field, was that a thing that added to it?
Yes, exactly, because it was a larger field. They needed someone, and you have 3 downs instead of 2, right? So you need a guy that can elude the pressure, be creative, and make things happen. And most of the time, the quarterbacks that had the ability to do that were not 6'4", 6'5". No, they were 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". And so that's why they went to Canada and played. Even Doug Flutie, 5'9". I mean, it was amazing, right? Amazing. So that was something that the Canadian Football League offered that we had an option to go to. And there were really, if you want to consider them strikes, that I was 6 feet, 6'1". Well, really 6 feet. I've never 6'1", 6 feet. And I was in an option offense, where Rodney Peete was in a more prolific type offense. And Rodney Peete and I talked. We're roommates.
Well, they ran the power eye. Yeah. You know, the USC offense, it looked more like the NFL game.
Exactly. And Rodney, I never forget this. I was laying in bed and Rodney was there. And at the time, they were talking about Rodney and I being drafted in the middle rounds, 5th, 6th round in the National Football League. And I was like, dude, I'm going to make more money going in Canada. Rodney Peete had another in. His dad was a scout in the NFL.
Yep.
And he was in a different type offense than what I was in. So his path would have been, a little easier than mine, right? Just on paper, right? So those are things that come into play for guys to get opportunities.
Ron Brown and I were talking about it earlier in the week that for the black quarterback in the era, late 70s to early 80s, and then what the real transition. But I'm old enough where I grew up watching Conridge Holloway at Tennessee.
Oh yes.
I watched Cornelius Griffin, Cornelius Greed from Ohio State.
Yeah.
So he was a DC. Those are DC kids who ended up in these big programs, and we, kind of took top of your head off. Like, wait a minute. But then the question always became, and I was always curious. You played with some great runners. So you had Keith Jones, you had Doug DuBose, Rathman, Ken Clark.
Yes.
If you didn't have so much talent around you, your numbers would have been even greater. Like there would have been a greater burden. Helpful or hindrance to have that much talent around you in the backfield that you could distribute the ball to.
I would rather have it.
Right. I was trying to explain this to somebody that you had some dudes.
I had a few, yes. I did. Yeah, I did.
Right.
Yeah.
That era and the moments that Nebraska accepted this, and I think it's part of the legend of Coach Osborne, was that he integrated sports in a Midwest town. Not easy to do.
No.
Not easy to do. Why did you trust Coach Osborne so much?
Well, I never forget this. When he came to my high school in Lincoln High in San Diego, I never forget when I first met him. We were in like the corridor. There was like the locker room, and then there's like a pathway to walk to the gymnasium. And if you ever seen our school, DP, it was ugly at the time. I mean, when I went to Lincoln High School, I could not believe it. Because all I knew was that Marcus Allen played at Lincoln High School.
Yeah.
I was in Fresno, California. And my wife tells a story when she sees friends of mine. Our high school literally looked like a prison. I'm not saying that it just looked, the windows were like blacked out or darkened. I've never had seen anything like that. And I was in an inner city school in Fresno. Edison was a beautiful, beautiful school.
Yeah.
We had vines and bricks and everything. It was a beautiful campus. And this was a larger city, right, in San Diego. And Marcus Allen had gone there, and his brother Damon as well. But when I saw this school, I just couldn't believe the physical appearance of it. It was literally depressing. But anyway, so there was a corridor, and I'm saying this because it was all fenced up, and there were gated. It had wrought iron around our school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was weird. I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that, right? Anyway, so they had a corridor, and Coach Osborne was standing there with George Darlington. He had a red blazer on, and he was about as pale as you can get, right? Because he was from I'd never seen a white guy so pale, right? Because in California, they're tan.
Yeah.
They're white, they're tan, right?
Yeah.
But he was about as white as that your 93.7 ticket riding there in white.
Right.
And anyway, so he said, Steve, I will promise you one thing. You will play quarterback and you'll get a good education. And that first 5 minutes that I met him, that resonated with me. Because I was told so much other stuff by other schools. I'm talking Lou Holtz and so many other schools, right? And he said, I'm not going to promise you you're going to start. You're going to be the only quarterback that we are going to take, and that you will play quarterback, and you have a chance to get a good education. When I heard though, that nailed the coffin right there.
Yeah,
I felt I trusted him. And I had not only, he said that, I had seen it on TV with Turner Gill.
That's big.
So I didn't have to say what if. No, it was I saw it. He said it. I trust you. Now I just got to do my part and be the player that you think I am. Since I'm going to be the only one that you take in that class, I got to make sure I do what I need to do.
What were those things? And the list in your head of things that you had to do to be worthy of being Nebraska's quarterback?
It changed after my sophomore year, and that was an interesting conversation that I had with Broderick Thomas. But it's weird, and I told my wife just the other day, and my life has been pretty good, and I've had a pretty good life. I said I wish I would have dreamed bigger. I said I wish I would have dreamed bigger. I dreamed at that time that I was going to be a businessman. For some reason, playing professional sports, I thought about it, but it wasn't like a real goal of mine for some reason. Because that was, at that time, it was more so of an exception. It was like less than 1%, right? I didn't. That's when I said I wish I would have dreamed bigger, right? But I thought I would do well in college, maybe go on and play pro, maybe, right? But it wasn't like a goal of mine. Not until after my sophomore year, right? So I went to get a good education and have a great college experience and live better than what my family had lived better before me. If I did those things, because those things you can control, right? Going pro is like a bonus deal, right? But if you do those things, my life will be better. And getting an education and football, having that ability to do that, that would allow me to do that.
We're going to put pin right there. We're going to come back to it. We're going to get some folks ready for some college basketball, and then we will flip up because I think that story needs to be completed. Steve Taylor breaking it down for us on Rap Sessions on the Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hey farmers, do you run a precision planting monitor in your planter tractor? Voigt Farm Outfitters is hosting our annual 2020 Monitor Clinic at the Holthus Center in York on Wednesday, March 19th. They'll run through everything on the monitor, from basic setup to more complex downforce settings, and everything in between. You'll learn agronomy principles behind some of the monitor settings and will leave refreshed and ready to plant. Representatives from Precision Planting will be on hand to handle any questions that you can throw at them. Visit VoigtFarmOutfitters.com for all the details and to reserve your spot.
Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join us and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard, guard the good life.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Now back to weekly rap sessions with All-American quarterback Steve Taylor on 93.7 The Ticket and theticket.fm.com.
Final segment, rap sessions, and we'll hand over to Todd Euler, who will take us up to 1. Steve Taylor, kind sir, you were telling the story of Coach Osborne and trust, and then you figuring out the thing that you need to do. What were those things? You were halfway through your story.
No, so that was my goal, was just to get a good education, get my degree, and then be some sort of businessman.
Yeah.
And then if I was good enough to go pro, that would be great. Now, and I started doing those things my freshman year, right? So then I knew that I could play pro football, right? I knew I could play pro football at another position.
Yeah.
But will they allow me to play quarterback? But it wasn't a primary focus until after my sophomore year, when one day I'm in my dorm room and Broderick Thomas, we were roommates, and he's from Texas.
Yeah.
And Texas, I learned, has a whole different philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if my life was sheltered or just the environment that I lived in with my mom and that kind of stuff. But Broderick's goal was to play in the NFL. But his uncle was Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
So he had seen that.
Yep.
And Texas football, I didn't realize, and we used to go back and forth because when he talked about Texas and California, I was like, dude, well, we're better in California because we don't play football year round. We just do it one season. You guys do it year round.
Yeah.
You need to do that in California. We don't need to play year round to be just as good as you. So we used to go back and forth about that. But one day, Broderick asked me what I'm majoring in, and I told him, well, speech communications. I want to maybe be a broadcaster or public relations, something like that, right? And I said, what about you? And I never forget this, DP. You know, he was looking in the mirror, and he was picking his ingrown hairs in his, and picking his ingrown hairs. And he said, I'm majoring in the NFL draft. And I was like, okay. So that was his primary focus. And he said, all I have to do is be 3-time first team All Big 8 and All-American, and I'm going to be drafted in the first round. He laid out his goals right there our sophomore year. And that's when I said, it's okay to dream a little bigger. Now, once I knew I had the ability, and so I dedicated myself that I took a lighter course academically, and I concentrated 100% on football. Was 100%. That was my focus, and that was after my sophomore year. And it was okay. Like I felt I didn't feel guilty. Like I was still going to get an education.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't my focus. The physics and the French and all those very difficult classes they're going to take a back seat. Now it's the gym. Now it's watching film. Now it's my nutrition.
Yeah.
Football is first. And that literally changed my life.
Is that necessary for today's college athlete?
Things are so progressive now.
Mm-hmm.
All you see are these athletes on TV and the lifestyle and all the great things that come with being a professional football player. You see at a very early age on social. You just see it. It's a different emphasis, and the game is much larger than it was when I played. When you were playing, it's different. So now, this is when I talk about the NIL and talk about these high school kids. Right now, if I'm in high school, I'm focusing on NIL. I mean, I'm going to be frank with you. School will not be a top priority.
Isn't that?
It's sad, but from my environment, from where I'm from.
Well, if you don't
inner
have
city, what you don't have,
if you
right?
don't
So,
have, right? You can't tell anybody. What would you say? Nature versus nurture.
Yes.
That if your survival mode kicks in and that's how you're going to better your situation and circumstance, immediately change it, right?
Yeah.
And I explained this to people this way for an understanding. The people I went to school with in high school, I went to predominantly white high school on the other side of town, busing at its very, remember the Titans. That's my hometown. So just imagine that era for me was being pulled in the 3rd grade from an all black school in a black neighborhood, sent across town and busing to be a part. I was picked and identified to be one of those kids.
Yes.
And then to go over and realize that the kids that I was going to school with, they had trainers for baseball, football, basketball. They went skiing on the weekend, right? And we were just trying to make sure we had enough food to eat.
Yes.
So John Thompson used to say this thing that he would identify an athlete. He goes, if you put people on a cliff, on a ledge, the way they fight tells you everything. Do they fight as though they know there's a mattress at the bottom of the cliff? Or do they fight as though they believe there is no mattress?
There is no mattress.
There is no choice. this is what I'm going to do. I need to be successful here, and that's the work that's required. And that's, I think people miss that in the NIL discussion.
Yes.
That if you're sitting with a cell phone and a house with cable and you can do whatever you want, you eat where you want, when you want, that's not the reality for 84% of the young people who watch playing college sports.
It's interesting you say, well, it's not interesting. You know, all these things come back, and I had 3 daughters, and their frame of reference was much different than mine.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
And they used to say some things to me
yes,
that
sir.
I did not appreciate. And one time they said, well, Dad, your school was free. I was like, no, I work and earn to get my scholarship.
Say that again.
Right?
Say that again.
I work and earn. So
you get a free education.
But they thought my education was free.
Hey,
and I was like, wow, that was the only way I was going to go to college. Right? I think I regret that one day my daughter wanted to play college volleyball, and she was growing at one time when she realized she was only going to be like maybe 5'8", maybe 5'9". And one day a statement came to our house, and we opened it up, and it was my kid's trust fund. And she said, Dad, what's this? And it was just an accident, right? We keep that stuff away. And we said, you're good for college. The point I'm making is that she knew that she was going to go to college. Now, what if she didn't know that and she still was going to be 5'9", and the only way for her to move ahead in this world is to get education? Maybe she would have worked a little harder. Maybe, I don't know. But I always think that they knew that they were fine when it came to college. That was their frame of reference. Mine was different.
And
right?
that's why we grind as parents.
That's why we grind.
That's why we grind. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, and you feel good about that, but then, you know, their struggles are different. Their struggles are real. There's no question about that.
Yep.
And their challenges, but it was different than mine. The only way I was going to better my life would be through education, which is a longer process.
Mm-hmm.
But football could immediately, or sports in general, could immediately change that direction.
And you weren't going to be wrong.
And, you know,
you weren't going to be wrong.
Yeah. And so anyway, coming out of high school, you can literally play 3 or 4 years in college football and be done.
Mm-hmm. That's most. That's 90%, 90+%.
I mean, you can have a
That's
good
it
base.
for you. That's it for you.
You could be done at 21, 22.
Well,
not 30.
It's interesting. And this is why I made a point to sit in today, because you and I have different conversations than some of the things that go on. And that's why I wanted to sit in today, to hang out with you. We'll pick it up again, because we'll do it again.
Yes, I love this.
We will do it again. I think you're off this week. I think it'll be another Saturday deal next week.
Actually, let me know.
Yeah, because the playoffs.
Okay.
State playoffs start Wednesday at 9 a.m. and it runs all the way through. But you and I will have the conversation. Matter of fact, we might go in the podcast studio, have some conversations as well. Steve Taylor, thank you, all American.
Appreciate you, DP.
Appreciate you, man.
And thank you for reaching out and getting me back on there. I really appreciate it.
No, brother, this is a win-win for everybody. Todd Euler will take over the noon o'clock hour here on The Ticket. Don't go anywhere. Ticket Weekends.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine model